Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Mike, and Happy New Year to you. I'm coming at you with my top 10 masterpiece Transformers of 2019 and my top few worst figures of the year, which, by the way, I have to pay for every figure, so I don't buy stuff that I think sucks. And so getting the worst was the hardest part of this video, so let's get right into it. So number one on my list, well, number 10 on my list is Magic Square Prime on my top 10 list. I think Magic Square Prime was a good Prime. It looks good in both modes, but in the end, he's a little bit bulkier than I would like, and no die cast and very little paint, and I didn't like that, but I still have mine. I didn't get rid of mine. So he makes my top 10 list, but he's not higher because Magic Square really struggles with paint. I think Magic Square would be one of those companies that would do a very good job making masterpiece scaled Transformers if they would take some of their designs that are in the Legend scale, move them to masterpiece, such as possibly Soundwave, such as possibly their Megatron, but they did it with Prime. Let's see what they can do with some more. Number 9 on my list is MMC's Frodo, and this is their swindle for their Bruticus, and I have a Bruticus, the Zeta Bruticus, and I don't want another Bruticus, but Swindle is awesome. And after I fiddled with him, did a review with him, and I might be in on this set. I don't want to be in on another set. I don't want to be in on another Bruticus, but swindled me into it, just like X-Transbots is currently swindling us with their Minosaur. But anyway, I like this guy. It's a little bit complex with the transformation because there is so much going on, but in the end, it's intuitive in a way, and I never ever felt like I was going to break it. He feels pretty solid. I like the way he looks. I've got him in bot mode now. He looks amazing. My number 8 is Transform Elements Prime. Now, Transform Element came out of nowhere and started making an Optimus Prime. Now they're going to make a Mirage, and they've already made a Black Arachnia. They're doing some Legends Black Arachnia, Legends Rat Trap. The company is doing great. They use die-cast. They know how to apply paint. And so this Prime is actually the Prime that is rivaling the MP44, which is Takara's baby for the year. And I think that they did a pretty good job. I like the way it looks. In fact, I made fun of this figure over and over and over because of the promo shots. I didn't think it looked good. I don't think they had the proper paint schemes. I don't think they had it quite lined out how they were going to do it. And this is the prototype shots just look terrible paint-wise, this, that, and another. But in the end, I think they did a really good job pulling it out and making it look the way it should. The paint job, the decisions they made at the end look great, and even the reissues, the re-release, they've made a few more improvements. I have to say, give it up to them. I hope they continue making figures in the masterpiece scale. My number 7 is going to be Zeta's Superion in the combined mode. The combined mode Superion, he looks great. I have him up there. I am a Superion fan, so I have kind of a bit of a connection to this character, a lot more than the average person. I have a couple of the G1s. I have KOs of the G1s. I have the Zhuzhang Jet Commander, if I said that right. And I don't ever plan to get rid of that. I love that thing. And I'm going to get the Fans Toys one. But in the end, Zeta captured the spirit of this combined mode character so well. It looks really good. They were not going for Ultimate G1, but it's G1 enough to satisfy this G1 lover right here. I really like the way it looks. And if you look at their Silverbolt actually fits in this, so I'm going to lump it in with this. Their Silverbolt looks really good. It gives a rival to the Fans Toys, and if we never got another one, if Fans Toys didn't decide to jump into this market, I would have been eternally happy with Zeta for combined mode and their Silverbolt alone. So my number 6 is the Zhangjing Red Dragon, the JX Red Dragon, and this is the Transmetal 2 Beast Wars Megatron, and is by far and way above my favorite character in Beast Wars. Now, I actually enjoyed the Beast Wars show. I don't really care about the Beast Wars toys. The Masterpiece Beast Wars line captures the show so well. I actually am picking up the Masterpiece stuff. I don't get all the third-party stuff. This third-party figure, I could not pass up. It's just that amazing. The paint is out of the world. The figure looks so amazing. The actual dragon mode is so gigantic, ginormous. I don't know where I would put it in dragon mode. I have this on my shelf with my G1 stuff and have still been just looking at it. The paint just makes it look like it walked off the screen. The aesthetic looks like it walked off the screen. I can't say more good things about this figure. I love it so much. The price point is really high at like $230 for Show Z, but everywhere else $260. I absolutely love this thing, and I don't ever plan on getting rid of it. Number 5 on my top list is MP44, and it would not be on this list if I paid $450 for it. I got mine for $328 through Amazon Japan, but I think it is a bit pricey for what it is, but it is the best, the most definitive version of Optimus Prime that's ever been made. And the only reason I can truthfully say that and honestly say that is because I have every other Masterpiece version that's ever been made. I have the Transform Element, I got the Magic Square, I have all of those, and this one still looks better. I have swapped them out in the center of my display multiple times. I still feel this one looks the best. It fits the character the most. It looks more screen accurate. It's what I feel that a Masterpiece Prime should be, but there are some issues that luckily I don't have. My knees haven't broke, my paint hasn't shipped, and I don't really have any issues posing him whatsoever. I think he looks really good. The people that have the paint shipping flip them back and forth 3-4 times, and I can see that if I did that, I probably would chip my paint eventually. And I am super duper ultra careful with my figures. I do not want to do the paint shipping or ruin such a beautiful figure. Number 4 on my top 10 list is Fans Toys Jabber, and it's their take on Blur. For such a minor character in the 1986 movie and the season 3 and the lore, I really thought this was just an easy pass. I considered canceling my pre-order, but I decided to go ahead and just get them and try them out, and I'm so glad I did because this figure is great. The Unique Toys version was good for its time and good in its day, but this figure looks the part. The paint is amazing. What they didn't paint is really intelligent because they didn't paint the areas that would get scratched up and beat the heck, and so they did paint the areas that are less likely to get scratched up. In fact, I have not scratched mine at all whatsoever. I've transformed him, and I think this guy looks good. The transformation is a bit complex, a bit challenging, and there are a couple of points that you could break it if you're rough with it, but in the end, this figure just really blows it out of the park. The ultimate deciding factor to put this thing on the list is the Alt Mode 2. The Alt Mode is ultra, super G1, flew right off the screen. Cannot believe it. I actually have him in Alt Mode right now, and I can't say that for very many of my figures. Only 3 of my figures in my Masterpiece collection out of over 100 are in Alt Mode. This figure is in Alt Mode. I don't want to put him back in Bot Mode just yet because he just looks that great, and I love this figure. I don't have much more to say about it. The diaper thing on him was an issue at first, but I kind of got over that pretty quickly when I did a side-by-side comparison with the Unique Toys, and it is awesome. My number 3 figure of the year for 2019 is X-Transbot's Neptune, and I knew X-Transbot's Neptune would be good. I knew it would be on my list, but I didn't realize that it would be an easy transformation. I really was shocked that X-Transbots put out a figure that was a super simple transformation. It was intuitive, it made a lot of sense, it looks absolutely great in both modes. They did a little bit of outside of the box thinking with the way they collapsed the waist. Awesome. It does fit the character. It's not as fat and pudgy as you would think for a Sea Spray, but it still fits the character mold, the character model, and the aspects and the aesthetics that you would expect from this figure. And if I'm going to give this so much praise, I do feel he's a little light, needs a little bit more die cast, and I do think the yellows don't match 100% 100%. But other than that, the color scheme is outstanding. The only thing is I wish I would have gotten a G2 version while they were still relatively good priced. I just don't want to pay $80 for a G2 version nowadays after paying $55 for what seems to be an absolutely perfect Sea Spray. Number 2 on my list is the Giga Power Gaudentor, their Sloop. I am a gigantic Sloop fan. Sloop is in my top 3 of characters in Transformers by far. And I absolutely love this figure. And I've had a couple of QC issues with mine. Just parts falling off. I had to glue back on the chrome pieces. I don't really care about that. That's something I can fix with no problem whatsoever. I fixed it. I'm actually considering buying a second one, getting the metallic version, because the metallic versions are the harder to find and the more sought after. And if down the road I decide I want to go metallic with this figure, then I will have it. I'm really considering that. And I want to say that the size, the presence, the shine, the sheen, the aesthetic, this thing is far above what I expected when I ordered it. I actually shouldn't admit this, but I only ordered Giga Power because I could not find a Fans Toys one for a reasonable price, and I ordered one Giga Power. I loved it, so I said, hey, let's see if the Sloop matches up to the Fans Toys. I actually like this one more than the Fans Toys, and it's very few and far between that I like something more than Fans Toys. This thing was amazing. Looked great in both modes. Just, if you're a Swoop fan like me and you love Swoop and he's one of your favorite characters, it pays to get both. So number 1 on my list is no other than Hound, and I am so thankful to Amazon Japan that they got it to me today so I could handle it. And I knew this figure was going to be good. I didn't know it was going to be on my top. Hound is what we need from Takara. Takara needs to quit with the reissues and the version 3s and the version 12s and the whatever, and give us new characters and new molds like this Hound. I have to admit, if Takara puts their mind to whatever they want to, they can do it. This Hound did it. I love it. It's great. It's a bit light, but I don't even care, because this is the same feeling I got when I got MP39, but it's even better than MP39. I think the engineering is better on this. I think that they really worked this out, and I look forward to seeing them do a Jazz, a Mirage. I know Transform Elements doing a Mirage. Takara was able to pull off gimmicks such as an opening hood and all of this stuff that's going on. It's not 100% a perfect figure, because nothing in the world is perfect. But this is as close to a perfect Hound as we're going to get for a long time. Before I get into the worst figures that I had to deal with this year, which are still not horrible, I want to talk about Final Victory. Final Victory was out of nowhere. They created 3 mini-bots. It was like $115 is what I spent. So you're talking at like $35, $38 a piece. And I want to mention they all have a little bit of die cast, great paint. They look good. Some could be use a little more paint maybe, but in the end, these all are good representations of figures that either we didn't have a good representation of, the good representation is too expensive and hard to find, or this is the best representation. I think the Brawn is the best one out now. I think their Huffer is great, but a way better price than what I think the Bad Cube is the best. So if you want to spend $200, $300, $400, if you can find a Bad Cube one, or get this guy for like $35 or $40. And then I do think their Warpath is the best looking Warpath on the market, and I have both. I have this one, I have Bad Cubes, but I think this one looks more like the G1 character that I view, and he's got die cast in it. He feels great. He's not as ridiculously complicated as, say, the Bad Cube, so great set. Honorable mentions go to Fans Toys with their Sovereign 16M and their 2019. I don't think a reissue deserves to take a place in a top 10 list. End of story. But I do say that I commend any company that's going to reissue a figure that's in high demand for collectors. You are there for collectors. By the way, they're a little bit more higher price than what I paid for the first quietest. I paid 160. It was 160. I paid 130 for my first one. And then for the Sovereign, it came out at 180, and the other one reissued earlier, 160. So it's kind of one of those things that it's like, well, yes, they're charging a bit more, but they are giving it to you for, well, less than the $300 or $400 that you're having to pay on eBay for the originals. And lastly, you're going to probably question why Road King and Maverick did not make this list because, well, for a couple of reasons. I think they both look great. They look outstanding standing on a shelf. I think Maverick has a lot of fiddly loose pieces. I am very disappointed in both of these guys. You should be ashamed of yourselves for charging $180 and not coming with combiner pieces. I am sorry. I'm still really sore at both of these figures for not coming with the combiner pieces, not letting me know how they're going to combine, not letting me do what I've done with every other combiner that I have built. And if I doubled up on the limbs, I built Zeta Superion. I did that. I can't do this here. I have no idea how these things are going to combine. They don't make my top 10 list for $180, and you don't even give me combining pieces. I'm disappointed in both of these figures. I think that the transformation in Road King is different and phenomenal with the trailer included, but still I am disappointed, and I'm not going to forget this. This really irritates me. I love Fans Toys. I'm irritated about this. I don't want to spend $700 plus for a freaking combiner. I would have liked to have known this up front. Thanks. All right, I think I got my mindset just right for my worst of 2019. So we're entering the worst of 2019. I have to give it to the Limbots of my favorite combiner, Superion. I love Superion. These Limbots don't look like Superion figures. They don't look like aerial bots to me. The head sculpts, even though they redid them, they still are wrong. They don't look right. They're flimsy. They're super duper hollow. They condense down into limb mode to be a solid limb piece very well. But as bots, they suck. Silver Arrow, their Silverbolt still looks amazing. I almost considered buying a second one. If I found one cheap enough, I'd buy a second one, just because I love that one so much. But as for the other bots, I actually had extras, and I got rid of them because I didn't think they were that good. That's why I'm in on Fans Toys and spending the ridiculous price on the Fans Toys ones, because the bots are so bad. Come on, Zeta. You could have done better with the bot modes. Next up, my Bumblebee version 2. Yes, I threw this out as a recommend. I liked it. I still look at my shelf right now, and they're both in bot mode. I have two of these, and they're both in bot mode, and I think my shelf looks better because they're on it. But I can't really forgive the feet and the backpack that comes with this figure. It's just one of those crazy things. I just can't 100% forgive it. But in the end, I love it. I don't want to... It's not like I'm not selling either one of my two. I'm eventually going to put one back into the car mode and use it for comparisons, because that's what I'm going to do with it. But in the end, I don't like the strangeness of the back and the feet. And this is why making a worst list is hard, because I actually like the figure from the front and from on my shelf and the way it looks, but I don't like those aspects of it. And here's the only reason this figure is making this list at all. This figure wouldn't be on this list except for the fact that I kind of have this feeling Takara is going to put out their Cliff Jumper, and they're going to use the same mold. I really think if they do Cliff Jumper, they really need to just rethink the whole Cliff Jumper, figure out how to make a more aesthetically pleasing back and foot, and they can do it. I mean, Takara is the best in the game. They could be the best in the game. The Fans Toys is rivaling them, X-Transbots is rivaling them, but they could be the best in the game if they would fix these little things. And I hate to admit it, but the last figure I'm put on this is Magic Squares X. Magic Squares X has issues like crazy. They didn't paint their first one very well. Then the second one comes out and it's painted, and it's not painted to a G1 color scheme. It's painted to, it doesn't make sense. Why are there silver thighs, not white thighs? Why did they do that? Why are they painting this thing wrong? Why do that not make it look like a G1 version? What's going on? They chose not to paint at all in their first one, then they paint the second one, and it doesn't look great. It's not that stellar. I really don't understand what's going on with Magic Square. I have a lot of belief that Magic Square could be one of the next top masterpiece manufacturers for the third-party realm, and yet they come out with this thing. And I just think they're disconnected with really what masterpiece collectors want. Their stuff sells in Legends because Legend people give everything a pass that doesn't have paint, as long as the aesthetic looks like G1 and it transforms well and it looks good in both modes, which Magic Square nails. But their plastic is really flimsy. I can literally bend it like 90 degrees. It's super flimsy. I don't understand why they use that plastic. I don't understand why they don't like paint. Or, well, I guess I do now, because this shows they don't know how to apply it. So anyway, let me know what you think about my list of my top and my worst. I absolutely hate making a worst list of masterpiece because I don't buy stuff that I think is junk. So when I buy these things, I know I'm going to like something about it. And so having to be critical of things I actually sort of enjoy is really hard. But hey, you know what? That's part of life. And that's something I'm going to be a little bit more critical in 2020 because there are so many options out there. Like, subscribe to Darren Hanger out.